welcome into the Common Dad Podcast, Season 2. I am, of course, joined by Andrew and Ryan. Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine evening, morning, or afternoon?
How fine is it? It's pretty fine on my end.
Oh, it's good. It's going good so far. I mean, you don't have a drink in your hand, but that's your problem,
I need to top
not
mine
ours.
off soon.
So I am actually, well, as you can see, I'm not in my traditional space. I'm in my garage
For those of
/
you who aren't watching, you
bar.
can't see, and you should go see it on the YouTube channel.
Exactly. And Drew, where can you find the YouTube channel? Please do tell the fine listeners.
YouTube.com.
Right. If you just go to YouTube, it'll just be, we're on the main page.
And then,
The Common Dad Podcast on YouTube
see,
is
I
where
would have
you
gotten
could
that
see.
wrong.
That's fine. Most other listeners would too. That's why we told them. So yeah, anyway, I got a new space. I'm kicked out of my office for the week. So because my mother-in-law had, I don't know if this makes any sense, non-invasive heart surgery, if that's possible. Doesn't make any
That
sense to me,
sounds
but she was,
logical.
Sounds
she-
invasive no matter how you slice it. No
I
pun
feel-
intended. Well, pun should be intended.
well, hopefully. I don't think there was any slicing going on. She left at about 8 o'clock in the morning and was back by lunch. So I don't know how that's
Eating a
possible.
Big Mac.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, they brought home a bunch of authentic Venezuelan food. My wife's Venezuelan,
There
if
you
you don't
go.
know. And so yeah, Venezuelan food. A lot of fried plantains, a lot of bread,
Empanadas.
and empanadas. Put down about 4 of those.
Yeah.
And then there's just this loaf of bread that's like Jersey Mike's large sub long, and it's just stuffed with melted cheese. So it's just like it's just cheesy bread is all it is. They're like, it's Venezuelan. I'm like,
It's low carb.
whatever. It's low carb. So I had
Sure.
about a half a loaf of cheese bread. So I'm in actual physical pain right now. But it got me thinking. If you could only eat and take the United States out of it, if you could only eat one nation's food for the rest of your life,
Easy.
okay,
Easy.
what would it be? You said easy.
Me? You want me to go first?
Yeah,
You want me
you
to give
come
you the
on.
right
You said
answer.
let's
I'm going
go.
to give you
Give
the
me
right answer.
Give me the right answer.
Italy,
I
Italian
was
food.
kind of thinking. I was
because?
thinking like Rome, Italy, Italian.
Because
Yeah.
I've been to
Because if you say anything else, you can't have pizza.
Well, no, and it's not even. And although they do have great pizza, but it's not even that. So, I recently saw another interview of an Englishman and an American, and the Englishman was picking on the American and about how fast he was drinking his beer, and he goes, "Well, you know, the Englishman, you guys like have to drink beer because your food's so terrible." He's like, "What are you talking about? Like, half of the best Michelin restaurants in the world are in England," and he's like, "Yeah, and what kind of food do they cook?"
England
And
sucks.
he got
England's
him.
got bad food.
They cook French food. So England
That's true.
clearly doesn't have the best food.
They serve like beans with everything. If you're serving beans for breakfast, you're immediately off the list.
I've been to Paris. I've eaten French food.
How was it?
Our favorite restaurant when my wife and I went to Paris for our 10-year anniversary
I don't
was
care about your favorite restaurant. I just want to know how good the food was.
It was terrible. It was not great.
A lot of salad, right? It
Our
feels
favorite,
like a lot of
our
salad.
favorite, no, not a lot of salad. It wasn't that. It just the coffee was bad. The wine was good. The wine was
Coffee was bad. At
French wine was better than Italian wine.
What's better, French wine or Chick-fil-A, or French coffee or Chick-fil-A coffee?
Never had Chick-fil-A coffee.
Don't do it. It's terrible. Lick the pavement outside.
Italian
then
coffee
that'll be
was
fine.
good, but their wine sucked. But there was an Italian that moved to France, and he opened up a restaurant next to our little bed and breakfast, and that was our favorite restaurant. We ate at an Italian restaurant in Paris, like 3 out of the 8 days that we were there.
What would be yours, Drew?
I think the go-to answer is Italian food. It's hard to
Yeah.
beat. There's a you're not going to be stuck eating pizza the rest of your life. And
No, not at all.
I mean there's plenty of variety in the Italian.
How's
genre.
Italian beer? What do we? I know the wine's great.
I mean, look, most Italian restaurants
No.
even have wings. I
The
don't know if
wine's
that
not
counts as
great.
Italian.
The
but
wine's not great. Okay, what do we drink in Italy then? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter if the food's good enough, right?
I don't know.
In
I
between
don't know either.
in between courses or at the beginning of your meal, or at the end of the meal, you're oftentimes served a little shot freebie of limoncello.
Oh, free shots? Yeah, Italy. Then that's the answer.
Of limoncello. Well, but it's
that's
supposed to
perfect.
be
Let's go.
clean your palate.
Yeah.
Free shots. That's all I need to know.
Shot.
Pizza and free shots.
You go liquor. You go liquor when you go to.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you can get beer. I mean, they're close enough to Germany, right? You can get some decent beer.
I'm sure.
Have you ever had just like there's a German restaurant that just opened. I don't know how authentic they are, but no wonder those people are built the way they are. That's some thick food, man. It's just mashed potatoes and meat.
Oh
and
yeah, the sausage and mashed potatoes. And
It's incredible. It's good food, but it's like they brought me this single serving dish, and it was like 5 pounds of just meat and potatoes. Literally, there was not a green thing in sight. I know it was
grow
like
'em up big and strong.
okay, but I guess if you're drinking that beer, you do need that. I mean, it was.
Justin, did you give an answer though? What's your answer?
I thought about it long and hard today, and I definitely I think an underrated answer is just south of the border food, so you could go, Mexico, Tex-Mex, whatever. Because it's really good, but at the end of the day,
You have to narrow it to a single
right,
country,
yeah.
though, and that's where it gets
But
really
I also
tough.
don't want to sound like a racist because I couldn't tell you the difference between Mexican food and something else because I'm a white American my entire life, so I don't know.
Can I give you a dark horse here?
Yes.
Japan. Between
Okay.
sushi and the Kobe beef,
Yeah.
now you got your steak back in the mix.
Ooh.
Japanese
That's actually
food
pretty
is a
underrated.
dark
Yeah.
horse in this race, but I think Italy still takes it.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you don't go anything but Italy, now you don't get pizza, and that's
Would
that's not
American
hot.
food just be considered all the food in the world?
That's
Because
why I
Steak and
excluded it.
potatoes and no
Is there an
Yeah, but-
American food? Because
Apple
that's-
pie.
There's an American version of Latin food. There's an American version of Italian food.
Yeah, but they're all
Pizza
like
in America is
knockoffs.
different than pizza in
True.
Italy.
Maybe
So is that our genre then?
is like would
American
would an
pizza?
American food be like barbecue, like soul food? I don't know.
No, that's just
I'm
one
not sure.
area of America.
Yeah, there's really not. That's a tough answer because it's like one area. Anywhere you
Hamburgers
go,
and hot
American
dogs.
food covers
Yeah.
Americanized versions of
Yeah.
all of the other countries combined.
yeah, I think America is too easy of an answer because you can get anything you want. So,
Anything.
but Italy is you're not going to be in a bad mood. You're going to be super fat, which is fine. I already am, so I'd just rather be eating pasta and taking free shots, lemon drops. Right? Let's go.
You got Switzerland on the north too for your chocolate.
Oh, now we go.
Sweden.
Yeah. Okay.
Sweden.
No,
I'm sorry.
all right.
Sweden.
I like that.
Swiss
I like
chocolate. Sweden.
We'll take the show on the road to Italy and put this thing to test. So
now you're
speaking.
talking.
All right, so speaking of Italian food, tonight's topic is, of course, what movies do we absolutely want our kids to see before they graduate high school? So any movies between what their current age is and before they graduate high school, what are the movies you absolutely want them to see, and what do they actually really need to see? I know you guys have large lists.
Need to see
Mine
it.
is very small. So Drew, you've got like 50 movies there. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off? What is it? What's your start from the bottom of your list? Rattle off a couple here for
Oh,
us.
the bottom. Well, okay. So I mean, we'll
Get your
yeah,
bottom
I have-
feeders in.
I have well over 20.
Okay.
But I don't think we have time to necessarily get into a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
So starting.
Well, he's going to take
somewhere-
all of ours, Justin.
Probably. That's fine.
You have him go through the list.
That's all right.
So
rattle
we'll
off a couple.
we'll
He's got
start
good
with
taste, though.
Some
Yeah.
that are great family movies. These are rated PG. I did confirm those. These are holiday movies that are great for all ages. Young kids, old kids. They're classics. Christmas Vacation and
Ooh.
Elf.
Yeah.
Two must have Christmas movies for any household, family. Kids have got to see it before they go out. There's references left and right from both of those movies that they're going to come across.
See, and I let my kids watch Christmas Vacation now because all the inappropriate jokes go way over their head anyway. Fast forward through the mall scene, and you're fine, right? For the most part.
Interestingly enough, Christmas
Can't see the line anyway.
Christmas Vacation was PG-13. That one wasn't PG, but
Was it really?
it was PG-13. Probably
makes
No,
a
because
lot of
no,
sense.
the
any
mall
f
scene or
bombs in that
something.
movie? I
Not
don't think there
100%
are.
sure.
No f bombs. I know we get a. I don't know. Yeah, that's PG-13.
He holds his tongue at the end of the movie with the rant.
He does. Yeah, enough. He holds it enough. That's true. Elf is a great one now. I mean, that's
Elf is great.
absolutely. Yep. And you said Home Alone, right?
Home Alone
He
is
did
on the
not.
list as a Christmas. I did not put that. It is in there. It's much lower down the list. Kind of
Yeah.
wasn't planning to get into that, but
That's fine.
it's on the list.
Yeah.
I
It's
think the
always on the
debate
list.
there is it Home Alone 1 or is it Home Alone 2? The rest of them don't exist. So.
It's Christmas
It's
vacation.
only those two.
They're gonna call. They're gonna come on back to back anyway. So just sit there and watch them both.
there
but
you go.
Two is better. It's superior in every way, shape,
I
or form.
enjoy 2. I think it's
good.
creative how he finds the family's house and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better booby traps. Ryan, what's your list looking like over there?
So my list, actually, contrary to your belief, is not as long, and
Okay.
I'm missing, from my perspective, something that you guys are going to have. In that, I have a daughter,
That's true.
and I am sure my wife has her own version of list,
different
her
list,
for
probably.
Katie,
Probably.
to watch that includes some girl essentials that are just things that I'm going to totally whiff on. So
Sorry, it's the Common Dad podcast, not the Common Wife. So you do what you want.
I know. Well, but what ones that I would have make sure my daughter would watch? I'm going to admit that I'm probably not as well experienced in. I just didn't watch a lot of chick flicks.
That's fair.
I just didn't. However, one that hits all the notes, and I know you asked Drew to start off at the bottom. I'm sure this
You
is on
start
his
wherever
list.
you
Oh,
want.
this is 100%
You start
at the
wherever
top.
you want.
You're going with number 1, aren't you?
I have to. Well, my list isn't as long. Kids have already seen it multiple times. Verified love
100%.
of the movie from both genders. Princess Bride.
Number 1 on my list. Number 1.
It's got everything. It's got love story. It's got action. It's got intrigue. It's got twists and turns. And
I just don't like the movie. I don't know what
Oh,
else
you're
to say.
wrong.
well,
I just don't
wrong,
like
so
it. I just don't. I think it's a.
it's already.
I
been
think it's
verified.
a great choice for you and your children. I got nothing. Maybe I need to watch it again. Maybe I need to watch it again.
You
So,
probably
I
need to
do-
watch it again.
Just didn't do.
I
anything
do
for
have
me.
one other one that the kids have caught glimpses of, but they're not quite ready to watch all the way through because I want them to understand. But I would view this more as a middle school movie.
Mm-hmm.
Katie's about there. Matthew has another year or two. But again, kind of has a little bit of everything. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh yeah,
That's my number 2.
absolutely. Yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
Drew.
yes, yes.
Sorry,
Oh,
I
you're
knew
fine,
they were
you're
going to
fine,
be
you're
on your
fine.
list.
Yep.
I know.
And
I
fine.
knew they were.
Because I
Ferris
got plenty of others
Bueller-
we can get into. So
Ferris Bueller's underrated with a lot of like sneaky little like good life tips too. Like that's a good.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
that's a great movie.
Life
Absolutely.
moves pretty
have
fast.
you heard the news? There is a sequel in production.
No. Really?
Is there
From
really?
what I understand. I just
I
read
I
this
don't
the other
want
day.
it.
about
I'm
that.
gonna watch
I
it,
just
but I
read
don't
this
want
the
it.
other day, and they were questioning the intelligence behind this because how do you follow that up?
Is Charlie Sheen
can't.
dead? Can he
I
be in
don't-
it? Can anybody confirm Charlie Sheen dead or alive?
Matthew Broderick is still alive.
He's alive. He's alive. Edward Rooney, I think, is in jail for some children stuff. I think. So
Okay.
I don't think they're bringing him
I
back.
forgot what it was about, and I just remembered what it's about.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a sequel. It is
Okay.
a spin-off.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, hold
Okay.
on. Sorry, a video started playing here. So, the sequel is actually about, and let me get the gentlemen's names who are the.
Mhm.
It is Sam and Victor. They are the two names of the characters, and it is the
Okay.
two valets that have an entire day with the car.
No kid. Okay, I'm in for that. That's
That's
great.
the
So
movie.
it's just the valets and it's the
It's
whole
the two
movie.
valets that take the car
Yes.
and go out on an adventure on the city.
Is
instead
and
of parking the car like they're
I
supposed
can't
to
remember the year of the car. I know everything else. It's the 19.
I would have to go with Ryan probably. I don't
79?
1960s or
No, it's a 60s, I believe.
Yeah. Ferrari GT California.
it's the California, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put it in reverse.
Boom, boom. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. I had that on my list. That's a fantastic movie from start to finish. And again, sneaky little like life lesson value in
1958
there.
Ferrari F250, not F, Ferrari 250 Spider.
There you go. GT California. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. I'll start at kind of the top of my list, and it's super jockey and it's super stereotypical, but specifically what I want them to watch, of course, is all the Rockies, but Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 for sure.
Those
Now-
are on the list.
The comeback. Yep.
I don't know because
It's a
they're
great
not quite.
learning moment for them
It's
too.
so good. It's so, especially
You're
Rocky
gonna lose
1.
sometimes. You got to get back up.
Well, especially Rocky 1 because the whole movie, he knows he's not going to win, which is pretty unique. There's not a lot of movies that's the running theme. Like, you'll get a couple movies, like a war movie, where they know they're going to lose the final battle, whatever. But, like, from the whole movie, he knows he's just trying to go the distance, is what he says. So that's a good one. And then Rocky 2 it's almost identical movies, really. But he finally wins. But yeah, those two actually have, like, for a sports movie, they have like a lot of like good little life value lessons. So I would go with my first pick to be Rocky 1 and Rocky 2 for sure.
Not a bad choice. Do you have another one, or do you want me to take it?
You
take this
keep
over since
going.
I have
You
it?
keep
okay,
going.
so we're going to move into more. So we started with the Christmas category. We're going to move into a little bit more of an adventure category,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to follow it up with two more movies. We're going to go Indiana Jones, specifically Raiders.
Really?
And then for the slightly older crowd, although my oldest has watched it, and my youngest has probably watched it looking over his shoulder,
Sure.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
The original.
The original.
Not the
original.
Chris
You know,
Pratt. Right.
those didn't
the
even
new
come
ones
to
are good.
mind.
The new ones are great and all
for
of
me.
that, but you have a couple of really, like, I assume they're going to see those at some point. I
Right.
want to make sure they've seen the original.
The original.
You've got
ones.
some great lines. The music is fantastic. They've got to see the original Jurassic Park, and they've got to see Indiana Jones.
Now, what
Not the new
made
stuff,
you
but
go
Indiana
with
Jones.
what made you go with Raiders? What makes that movie so good to you?
I don't know.
I like it, but it never
It's-
came to
are
mind.
you,
for
are
me.
you thinking one of the other ones is a better first
No,
choice?
really, none of them came to mind. Like, I watched them when I was little, but they weren't. I don't know. I didn't love them. I thought they
didn't
were
love 'em?
fine. They were fine. I don't know. It just like it was a movie. If it was like
I don't
on
know, growing up
TV,
Christian,
I'd watch
and I know
it.
they all
but
have some Christian background, but I don't know.
Especially-
Raiders sticks out in my mind.
yeah.
Well,
That's
Raiders
good.
has a
Better. I do
phenomenal
like it.
scene as
do
the
like it.
actor when the bug crawls in his mouth,
Oh, that's a good
and he
one.
doesn't miss a
Well-
beat. He keeps going.
What's the one? Wait, okay. So speaking of rated R, there was one of the Indiana Joneses where that was the last movie where they were like, oh, okay, this needs to be rated R. It's the one where the guy puts his hand through his chest and
Temple
pulls
Oh
his
no,
heart
that's
out.
got to be Temple of Doom.
So that was PG
Temple of Doom
13.
That was a little intense with the
That was-
like rituals and burning
Yeah,
people alive. And
It was a lot. So that was either PG 13, and after that they were like, okay, that crap's got to be R.
Is that
But
or
if I'm not mistaken, Raider or the
Dr. Jones.
but if I'm not mistaken, Temple of Doom was the third one.
I think you're right. Yeah, yeah.
And was the most intense.
yeah. That
And they
was,
didn't
that
come out
was a
with
lot.
one after that for a long time.
I'll have to look it up, but I think that movie is where rated R movies came from because they were like, we need another
We need another
category
category for
because
this.
this guy just pulled a human heart out, and yeah, this isn't for 13-year-olds probably, but
No,
Yeah.
but Justin, to defend Drew's point here, and I don't know that it would make my list, at least for Katie, because it is more action adventure sort of thing. But it combines great acting, especially, and for me, I would say my favorite was the one with Sean Connery as his father,
Right.
with Last
It's
Crusade.
The Last Crusade, right?
I do remember
Last
that
Crusade.
one. That was a good one.
And just the whole getting through the booby traps and then choosing the right cup was like
The cup scene, I forgot about. That was a good one, man.
that
Pretty
was
graphic.
that was
that was.
Yeah.
and
Doesn't
the
he, like,
thought and
melt
the
into a skeleton or something.
so but the sound, it's the acting, it's the soundtrack, it's the story. It really kind of is a complete
Yeah.
movie the way I think movies
It's an
kind of
adventure.
should be done versus just the way some movies are made
Yeah.
now, just to usher people in, make some money, and usher them out.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. Yeah,
it's
no,
more
that was a
filmmaking in the way.
Is
that
Indiana Jones
you
based
hear
off a comic at all, or was that just like an original?
I think it's a story. It's a book.
the other way.
Is it a book? Okay, I
I,
didn't know if it was.
I had
based
an
off of
Indiana
something.
Jones comic
Okay.
as a kid, but it was based off
Yeah.
the movie.
I didn't read and don't read, so I wouldn't know.
But the point
I have
is,
no
when you hear his theme music,
hmm
you know what it is.
You know what it is. That's true.
When you hear
Instantly
Superman theme
recognizable.
that
music,
is true.
old Christopher, you know what it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dun, 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 dun.
So
Like
my
Star
my-
Wars.
I mean, I assume one of you are going to say Star Wars. Star Wars never hit big for me when I was little. It just didn't. Not I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. My second one would be,
Just
and this
keep in
I feel
mind.
like is a must for, and this isn't very very entertaining for adults, but the movie Inside Out is
Okay.
if you have like little kids and especially our middle
Inside Out's
child
good.
has a lot of problems expressing his emotions, that movie helped and helps for sure because he can physically see on the TV like, oh, that's what anger looks like. That's what sad like. And that was a really really good movie. And I try to get him to watch it now, and he just doesn't like to rewatch movies. But I'm like, no, you need to watch this. But that if your littles haven't seen that, that is a really really good movie for actual good parenting. You know that'll help on the parenting front for sure. Because that's a great movie. Pixar, right? Is that Disney or Pixar?
That's
That's Pixar.
Yeah.
That's Pixar. Yeah.
And you are lying if you tell me you didn't shed a little tear when Bing Bong died. You're lying to
Bong.
me. You don't remember Bing Bong, like the
I
elephant
remember Big Bong.
slash like.
But
maybe
he
was
couldn't
just
get
a-
out of
The
the
imaginary
pit.
Oh,
friend.
yeah.
He rocketed her out, but the only way she made it out was because
Because Bing Bong was too fat.
He
Yeah,
pushed her. Or
he
something,
bailed.
or
Imagine.
bailed.
jumped out. Yeah.
on the ride,
Exactly.
lessen the weight.
But yeah, Inside Out was one that stuck out to me for sure. that's one I definitely want for the littler ones at least. What's your next one, Drew?
Well, let's go to Ryan. I think we skipped over him.
That's all right. So I've got two that are gonna. These are more tugging on the emotional strings. One
Okay.
is maybe a little bit too serious for the kids. Needs to be a little bit older. The other one, just for rating and kind of things like that, should be when they're a little bit older as well. The first one you probably are going to be able to call it. This is piggybacking off your sports movie, but it's going to be Field of Dreams.
Oh, terrible.
It just
I hate that movie.
to be able to play catch with your dad, like I just you can't not have that as part of your repertoire
have
of
a
movies
catch?
that you've seen.
Pause for one
Right.
moment, Ryan.
Man.
One moment. New studio is great. Carry on.
There we go. And you've got classic Kevin Costner playing baseball, which is classic in and of itself, and James Earl Jones, again, great acting, great story.
True.
So the second one, and I have a feeling I'm going to steal this one for Drew, not the first one that you guys probably would have thought of, but Drew does his research, so I'm going to count on this being on his list. Shawshank Redemption.
Hmm. I mean, that's one of the best movies
in
of
there.
all time.
It's
everybody
phenomenal.
That one
needs to watch
is
that
an
movie.
R movie, so that's going to be for the older
Right.
kids a little bit.
Yeah, there's a couple of rough scenes for sure.
But yes.
more than
More than one. No,
more
yeah,
than
for
one.
sure.
More than one. Yeah,
100%. Yep. That
Yeah,
was,
Shawshank
that was
Redemption.
in the list for sure.
for sure. It's funny because the guy who plays Andy Dufresne,
Tim Robbins.
What other movies has he played? Like he wasn't. Is he considered like a mega star? Because I mean, considering he was in one of the best movies of all time, I couldn't tell you another movie that
And
he was in.
alongside Morgan Freeman.
Right. Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of movies.
Right. But that one
Um,
was far and away.
he was. Yeah, he's more. I'd call him probably more B-list
Mhm.
than A-list sort of thing.
Yeah.
But he was another. Here's my baseball showing again. Another Kevin
Mhm.
Costner movie, Bull Durham, where
Oh,
he's
mhm.
the
Thought you were gonna say
Tim
Waterworld.
Robbins is the hot shot young pitcher
Oh, okay.
that is, I think, is it Susan Sarandon that's in that one?
Susan Sarandon.
Who's the?
I don't know. I haven't seen Bull Durham. I don't know. Kevin Costner plays in a lot of baseball movies, I feel like.
He does.
So you would probably not have guessed this, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
He is in Top Gun.
Okay. Is he...
He is. You're right.
Is he... All right, give me a second here. Let me think of who he is. Is he a pilot? Is he one of the pilots?
Well,
Okay.
I pulled it up. I don't actually remember him firsthand in the movie. Ryan, do you remember?
I know who he
Well,
was.
he would have
Is
been.
he Wizard?
Close. You got the right guy.
Merlin. It's not Wizard. Merlin. Yeah,
Merlin.
Merlin. Yes, Merlin.
Lieutenant Sam Merlin.
Yes, Wizard.
Yep.
As soon as I said that, I was like,
Merlin.
no. I just remember his helmet. Yeah. That's funny. But he's not in it for more than like 3 or 4 scenes.
Very small. Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. Because Top Gun probably came out after Shawshank Redemption, didn't it? I would
Top Gun
think.
was before.
Really? I guess Shawshank just feels old because it was based in the...
Yeah,
50s
he
or
was
something.
really young in those movies, and Bull Durham the same.
Shawshank is 94.
Yeah.
Top Gun is 86.
Yeah, Top Gun was 80s.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's different. So my next one, and again, I guess this just comes from me being a super jock, as you can see. If you can't see, it's your fault. You're not watching on YouTube. But we already told you how to fix that. Remember the Titans for sure.
Remember the Titans is good.
That would be one of, and you can pretty much watch that. I mean, there's a couple scenes that are obviously tense, but I feel like you can let them watch that at least around 10
we
years
did-
old. Maybe they're not going to grasp all the
Al-
concepts,
Alex
but
just
they can
watched
watch
He's
it.
7. Alex did see it just recently. A couple months ago, we did watch that one, and there
What
were
did
a
he
few
think about
moments that I don't know that he fully grasped all of it. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a lot of obviously racism in that one.
Right. That's that's what it's about for the most part.
Yeah,
But he liked
didn't-
it?
He didn't fully grasp that. There were some questions and whatnot, and
Mhm.
we had to have conversations about appropriate language and whatnot. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I thought it was a pretty good reception.
Mhm.
The accident scene at the end was kind of hard.
Yeah.
But
It's not like it's
him
not super
understanding,
violent
like-
though.
no, it's not. They don't
Yeah,
show
so
any
they-
of it.
yeah.
It just fades to black, and,
And then he's
you
in a
see
bed.
him in the hospital bed.
Right.
But him grasping like the totality of the situation he was in. He went from star football player to in a hospital bed in
Yeah.
2 seconds.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good. I got the boys to watch it for a little bit, and then they were like, they just went and did something else. But they're little young for that, and they haven't really played football yet, so they don't really know. I remember that movie came out. Excuse me. That movie came out when I was playing like pee-wee football my second year, so it was like we were so freaking juiced for that movie to watch that. And then Friday Night Lights, another football movie, came out I think my senior year of high school, so those came out at like perfect times for it. But yeah, Remember the Titans for sure. And Remember the Titans is a sneaky funny movie. Denzel has a lot of funny scenes in that movie. It's a good one for sure.
So the
All right.
next the next one on my list is a trilogy, an adventure. Little
Just a
bit of
lengthy
love,
one.
Little bit of love in it. Yep, it's
Oh, they're
probably
lengthy.
the longest trilogy in the
They're
entire
lengthy.
world, if I had
Yep.
to guess, and that is the original Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Extended version.
If you want to do the extended version,
Of
more
course.
power to you.
Here at the Common Dad, we always do the extended version.
But it's gotta be one of the best cinemas, as far
Yeah.
as like the scripting and the screenplay, just everything about it. It has gotta be probably the top 10 movies of all time, or series
Yeah,
of all time.
I would say so. The only thing
and
that sucks
definitely
about it
something they
is
need to
Frodo
watch.
complaining and crying the entire way. But other than that,
Higher way.
it's all he does. It's just I can't do it. It's like, dude, you suck so much. But everything
And
else about it,
Who's the bestie that's always having to keep him back on course?
Sam literally carries.
Sam
Sam
Gumby.
saved the
Literally
entire series. Like
carries
it
him.
wouldn't have
Gosh.
happened without Sam.
There is a scene. I think me and Drew were talking about it a couple weeks ago because I rewatched it, and there's a scene right at the end. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, it came out 13 years ago, 26 years ago, whatever. And they're like 50 yards away, and Frodo's like, I can't do it. And Sam's like, all right, I'll pick you up, puts him on his back, carries him, and then they fall down. And the next thing you know, Frodo's just sprinting up this mountain. Like, 10 seconds ago you couldn't walk, and now you're just doing a 40-yard dash. Yeah, okay, cool, Mr.
Because he
Frodo.
got to rest while Sam carried him on his back.
Exactly, he was feeling fresh, man. Probably drinking his water while he was up there. But yeah, I would agree. Now, what age do you think you could get away with that? Because there's a good amount of beheading in that series.
Well, I don't think it's just necessarily the beheading, because
That's fine.
for the most part, a lot of the fighting is all with non-real. I mean, like, you have humans fighting orcs.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily as realistic to human life.
Right. That's
More
true.
fantasy, but
It's more
Yeah.
fantasy.
could be nightmare inspiring.
But the
For
orcs
sure.
For the younger.
themselves,
For sure.
the
Nightmare
actual
inspiring. I
orcs
like that.
themselves, I would say, would be a little intense images
Yeah.
for younger minds.
They do a lot of like close-ups, like in their face, and you see like their teeth and they're
and
always.
that's
It always
where I would
looks
say
like
probably 10 and up,
yeah. Why are the orcs always like leaking juice from their
because
face?
they're
It always looks like they just bit into
I
a
forget
peach.
exactly what it is. They're
just leaking.
the
Like,
orcs are like elves or something like that
they're like
have
inbred
died and
elves.
rotted and then come back to life.
So
Like
they're leaky.
they're zombies. They're zombies
Yeah,
of a
they're pretty
specific
much-
type of
Right.
humanoid. you
Yeah.
know, whether
They're-
it's an elf or a whatever, but they're
They
they're
don't look
zombies
like.
essentially. So
They look like they smell, and now
I
that
mean,
I think about it, in the
in
second
half of the
movie, they're
movies,
literally
they're-
tracked by
but
smell.
in half of the movies, they're physically digging the bodies up underground.
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
They're
I forgot
digging
about
the
that.
bodies up and unburying them
Yeah.
and then putting them to work.
I
So
forgot about
they
that.
Are, they are
I might push that to
essentially
12
zombies.
years
Two
old. now
towers,
that I
right?
think
Yeah.
about I might push that to 12 years old. No, with all the grave robbing that goes on, I did forget about that. Yeah. No, Lord of the Rings trilogy is absolutely a must. Ryan, what's your next one you got there?
So I'm going to go, again, I'm trying to kind of keep them paired up here in categories. So these two are kind of fun. One, I think the kids are really close to being of age, especially if they can skip probably 2 scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 scenes is all you kind of need to, and they're not lengthy scenes. The other one, maybe a little bit more, but just creative filmmaking and just all around fun. Back to the Future. I think if you clip out the peeping Tom
I forgot
sort
about
of
that scene.
video,
Yeah.
But
sort of
it's
Yeah.
PG, if I'm not mistaken. That is a PG movie. So
a PG-13, I think, but partially because of the rape scene at the end, or the
I'm
attempted
sorry.
rape scene at the
There's
end.
a rape
But
scene at the end of
that's-
Back
no,
to
no,
the
no,
Future?
that's-
What did I
Wow.
miss?
No, that is the first one.
What do you think Biff is trying to do in the back of the car when Marty's dad
True.
finally punches him and knocks him out?
Probably
I mean,
not just trying to make out. You're probably right. I didn't even.
Back to the Future, 1985,
Didn't even think about
PG.
What was the
PG.
year that Marty McFly traveled forward to?
1958.
No. But what did he in the second one? What did he travel forward to? When he went to the future? Because I think we've already passed the date. I think
We've
Oh, we
already
did.
and Back to
We
the
did?
Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the Future where he goes to the future. Yeah. No, I did not have that on my list, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Back to the Future, and then the other one is, again, it's more fun, but I think all the people that give
2015,
credibility.
Justin.
Okay.
There you go,
Still no
2015.
flying hoverboards. Somebody get on that, Elon. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of
Heath-
the pod, by the way. Big fan. Big fan.
Heath Ledger. Not going to necessarily push him into the whole Batman series. I know that kind of can be a little more niche, but Knight's Tale.
Oh,
Knight's Tale, I thought about it. It didn't
good
quite
call.
make the list.
I didn't even think
The
of that.
the
That's a good
use of
one.
modern day music
Yeah.
in that time period with the love story and the this and the that, and learning about how boys have to interact with girls, and
That's a good one.
it just he has
think
to write the
about that.
love letter, and then he has to lose and get beat up in order to show his love,
That's
and he
right.
doesn't get it, but she
yeah.
the whole explanation. I mean, it's just wonderfully written and
Isn't-
acted out. So
Isn't Paul Bettany butt naked when they find him?
Yep.
Too.
Yeah,
Because he lost
yeah.
all his money, clothes, and everything.
wagering,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good
Problem.
one.
But
That's an
but
underrated
great-
soundtrack, like
his
you
speech.
said.
Oh my goodness, it's
fantastic.
phenomenal. It's
Yep.
phenomenal. So those
That's a
are
good
my
one.
kind of fun category. Back to the Future, Back to the
Yeah.
Future 2. I don't
Right.
know that 3 quite fits there,
No.
and Knight's Tale.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go, and this is I'm just out of character tonight altogether because all three of mine are relatively serious. But a movie that I absolutely love, and this would be like high school years, would be The Green Mile. That
Mile's
is a
good.
good. It's not
Pretty
fun in
serious.
any
That's
way,
not-
shape, or
that's not
form.
a kid movie for sure.
No,
Yeah.
it's not a kid movie, and there's a couple scenes that are super rough. So this would probably be for like high school. I would think some tough concepts in that one for sure. But yeah, that's a good movie, and that is a movie that will make me tear up every single time for sure. But that one's got a lot of good lessons in it for sure. So yeah, The Green Mile would be one of mine. And you know what popped up, speaking of Tom Hanks, was... Do you guys have Forrest Gump on any of your lists?
I don't.
Okay, good. 'Cause
I don't
think that's a
either.
I
horrible...
thought about it, but it's
I
not
just
really
don't
one
like
of
that
my favorites. So
Right.
It didn't really necessarily cut it for
I
me.
agree. Yeah, The Green Mile was one that I had, though. Super sad movie, but definitely a good a lesson movie, I guess I would say, for sure.
I have one left
Okay.
that I would put out there just in terms of, again, I like encouraging my kids to kind of see things from different perspectives and observe things, and I thought this was a really cool movie in terms of kind of screwing with your mind. And I've got kind of a part B that isn't – I would
Okay.
choose this movie over part B. I think you're probably thinking that I'm going to go with my second movie, not the first one. I don't know that you guys have seen the first one.
You've
But,
already confused me, but proceed.
Absolutely. Well, that's the
I
idea.
don't
Mine-
know. Yeah, I'm actually oh cool.
At any rate, I'll skip the rhetoric and just go. So, Inception would be my runner-up,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
one that kind of
on
messes
there.
with your brain, but
Yeah.
It's
but
on there.
is
a thinker.
really kind
It's a
of an
thinker,
interesting
for sure.
thinker. The one that I think would be
Don't
really
steal-
cool for my
don't steal
my
mine.
kids to
Don't
see,
steal it.
but just to work. The whole movie is actually shot backwards, and it's Memento. Have
Never
either of you
seen
guys
it.
seen Memento?
No. What? Who's in this?
So I don't remember who's in it. Memento.
Clearly
What's it
we
about?
remember
I
what Vivid-
We'll do a
like,
quick research thing
vaguely-
here. So
I don't think it's a real movie. I think you made it up. What's
I mean,
it about?
Initially, based off your
Memento.
description, I'm thinking similar to Tenet, which was a good movie that came out recently.
Right. That's kind of what I
Kind
was
of.
thinking, but it's not
So,
shot backwards.
this is a Christopher Nolan movie. This is way
Okay.
before he did Batman. This came out in 2000.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know
What's the
the
concept
actors
of
in
it?
it. So the idea is the beginning of the movie has a guy waking up and he's got tattoos all over and he's looking at himself in the mirror. And the
Okay.
idea is he's got a mental condition where he can only remember like his memory only lasts a few minutes.
Okay.
So he's trying the whole story of the movie, the plot is somebody killed his girlfriend or wife or something like this. I saw this years ago. I haven't seen it recently.
Okay.
And he's trying to solve the murder, but he can't remember anything for more than like 5 minutes.
This is a Pixar movie?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Happy
Missed
ending.
it. Yeah.
So he tattoos the clues all over his body as he goes, and it starts kind of at the end, and then he figures out what the last clue was,
Uh-huh.
and it goes back then and shows the 5 minutes that led up to the end of the movie, and then it shows the 5 minutes that led up to the last 10 minutes of the movie, and then it shows the 5 minutes that led up to the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Well, this sounds like
And
a
what-
good movie for me. Forget my kids. I need to watch
led
this.
him to put all these like
Okay.
tattoos and all these clues on him and everything. And it's very actiony. It's kind of mystery, but it really is creative in
Can I
terms
ask a
of.
question?
Yeah.
Why didn't he just like get a notepad and just like write it down?
Well, but somebody's running after him, and any physical clues that he has, they're trying to take him. They're taking it from him.
Okay,
and
so
he doesn't
he's
remember.
Gotta get him tattooed.
Like you
Okay.
write down something on a notepad, and you wake up in the morning after you went to bed. You're not going to even remember there's a notepad in the drawer.
Like a USB or something. But yeah, no, tattoos are, I guess, will definitely work. Memento. Oh, check the Drew. Have you seen
Memento.
this movie or heard of this
I have
movie?
not. No, I have not.
Yeah. So real quick, just to wrap, the only other one that I have on my list, and I don't even know if this has a lot of life lessons, but it's mind bending, and it's my favorite movie of all time would be Interstellar. That's going to be a must
I had
watch
a feeling
for
you were
sure.
going to do that as your closer.
Absolutely, and I really don't know because it's not inappropriate almost ever.
It's PG-13.
There's a couple curse words. There's an
guessing it's
F-bomb in
language
there,
and-
but there's no point in showing my 7-year-old because he's not going to understand.
That's way over their head.
It's kind of over my head. I'm an idiot, but I'm also 32. So maybe wait till he's in high school and then he'll be intellectually equal with me. Probably be a good time for that. So, but yeah, Interstellar for sure. Drew, do you have one last one? A closer? Nobody said Star Wars.
No, I wasn't going to go Star Wars. I think
It's kind of implied.
potentially one of my top movies that they would need to watch at some point. Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah. Just for
None of the
coolness.
That's a
others.
good one.
None of the
Just
others.
for coolness.
But
I like 'em all.
It's a fantastic movie, and the way they think about everything, and they have it
Yep.
all planned out, and they literally just walk out of the front door.
That's a
carrying the
great
bags of
movie.
money.
There's really no good lessons either. If anything, it actually
of everything.
is probably a bad lesson, but great movie. Absolutely. It'll make them cooler, I feel like. For sure.
Well, and to piggyback though off the your comment about the lack of Star Wars, this isn't to say that there aren't other great movies that I like.
Sure,
I
sure.
love movies.
Star Wars just
There-
doesn't bring any like a not. For like
Iron
a
Man
kid, there's
the first
not-
Iron Man was a great
Yeah.
movie. Just to
Yeah.
start that off, versus forget the rest of
Yeah.
the Marvel universe.
just Iron Man, yeah.
The Star Wars series was great. There's so many great movies.
But by the time they get old enough, they're going to have their own world of Star Wars. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not going to matter. They're going to know all about it anyways, you know?
well, and if you have them watch the movies that we've just discussed,
They're not going to like them.
they're going to have a good appreciation for what good movies are
Yes.
versus crap movies, and they're
Yes.
going to naturally find some of these other good movies
I
that
agree.
kind of on their own.
I agree. Definitely. Well, any other ones before we sign off?
I mean, there's plenty. I mean, look, they're
Drew,
gonna-
just
they're growing
rip
up
off
in
a few that you got there on the list.
They're growing. So like the next one I had in my list was actually War Games, and part
Okay.
of that is just
That's
to
a
show
good
what
one.
technology was.
Sure. Yeah. That's
They're
a
going
good
to grow
What's
up in
another
an
one?
area. They're not going to have a clue
Right.
anything about War Games.
That's a
So
good one.
looking at ones that are specifically older, you also have like Real Genius.
Mm-hmm.
Good movie.
Yep. That's a good one.
What I mean, I could just Armageddon, Fifth Element,
Oh, yeah.
Die Hard,
And I don't
wanna
miss a
Die Hard.
Crimson Tide,
Die Hard, I thought about.
Gladiator.
Oh,
Gladiator, I thought
Gladiator,
about.
yes. Yeah, that was on
Russell
TV the other
Crowe.
day, and my oldest was like, "Can we?" Because this looks cool. I was like, "No, we're
Great. pair
we're
of
not
movies.
watching Gladiator right now.
Great
it was
pair
the
of movies, not exactly for the younger
Not ready for that.
ages, coming to
Yep.
America and trading places.
oh, those are both great. Yep,
Trading Places.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
I like the
There's a
Kevin
lot in
Costner
there.
version of Robin Hood with Morgan
Underrated.
Freeman.
Costner's Robin Hood was really
Underrated.
good. Also, Morgan Freeman.
yep.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was. in
Yep.
that, yeah.
Morgan Freeman was his buddy there.
I mean, Men in Tights is the ultimate Robin Hood, but that's just me. That's just me. Well, gentlemen,
Anybody
this
with
was
Talladega?
Talladega
Ricky
Nights.
Talladega on the
Ta-
did not have that.
No.
Talladega
No.
Nights. No, I
Step
mean
Brothers.
those will happen. Those aren't must sees, but those
No.
those are
American Pie?
those are will sees for sure.
No.
We'll
American
get those.
Pie? No.
Those never did it for me. They were fine, but they seemed they're okay. The pie scene was funny. We'll just tell you whether we
I
ate
felt like those are not movies I'd want to watch with my kids. First of all,
it. No, yeah, probably not. Probably not.
but I do think that like a movie like American Pie was like very accurate of what our generation's
Unfortunately, you're probably right.
I know it's
Yeah,
unfortunate. I know it's
It's
unfortunate.
quite unfortunate. Yeah. You're,
I do have one movie that my wife brought up that
All
I
right,
should
last
mention for my daughter,
what do we got?
for my daughter's sake. So this is more the girl's end, and we
This is
can
not your
we can
pick.
get
This is mom.
this is my wife's
is a mom
pick
pick. Okay.
for my daughter. 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's a good movie. I'll watch that
It
all
is.
day long.
It
I have
is.
no. It is a
It's funny.
funny movie, for sure. Heath Ledger, right?
So that's Heath Ledger also
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
the bad boy.
The other one I would
With-
say is she's got to watch How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
That's a good one too.
I would
Chick
assume
flicks.
that would be on the list.
That was a good one.
That may be. Maybe I'll have her go in our comments here and throw up some movie. All the
There's a lot
ladies
of
that
good
listen to our
Yeah,
podcast can help us
McConaughey
out.
ones.
I actually saw 10 Things I Hate About You in theater when that thing came out. I didn't
Wow.
want to go, but I did see it, and it was one of those movies where I was like too cool to, I didn't want to like it, but as I was watching, I was like, this is so good. I love this. This is such a
Titanic,
great
I'm
film.
sure, is on my wife's list.
I watched that in
Nice.
theaters for some reason as well. I don't know why.
I had a girlfriend when I watched that in theaters.
There
We
you
went
go.
together.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked because I did see 2 large boobs on the big screen. And I had my dad put the hand over the face, and I'll never forget just looking right through the pointer finger and the index finger. Just,
I was in. Imagine
grew
being
with
in
all that.
8th grade with
Yeah.
your girlfriend watching that.
yeah. I'm
On the
sure
big
that was
screen, yeah.
quite an experience. Well, we're going to end on the
And
boob
on that note.
on boobs, we're going to end. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you even more if you're watching to the Common Dad podcast. If you have not seen us on our new YouTube channel, you can find us at the Common Dad podcast on YouTube, and of course, going through puberty, and of course, we are on Facebook and Instagram at the Common Dad. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of the Common Dad podcast. Let us know if you liked the video by giving us a thumbs up. Even if you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video. Also, do not forget to follow us on Instagram at @the_common_dad and on Facebook at The Common Dad so you can let us know your thoughts on today's episode.